So, you're heading to the pool this summer? Awesome. But before you dive in wearing your favorite necklace or ring, you've got to hear this. We're about to pull back the curtain on the invisible chemical war happening between your beautiful jewelry and that sparkling blue water.
So let me just ask you straight up, is your jewelry actually pool-proof? I mean, most of us just assume a solid piece of metal can handle a little swim, right? We're usually way more worried about it slipping off than actually getting damaged. But the truth is, the very chemicals that are keeping that water clean are a total nightmare for your accessories. And I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute, gold is a noble metal. It doesn't tarnish or react with stuff. And yeah, you've probably heard that a million times. And it's a classic poolside myth. While that's technically true for pure 24-karat gold, the jewelry you're actually wearing, well, that tells a completely different story. Okay, so to get to the real truth, we need to look at what your gold jewelry is really made of. See, the risk isn't from the gold itself, it's from all the other metals that are secretly mixed in. And that brings us to this word, alloy. You see, pure gold is incredibly soft. I mean, you could literally bend a 24-karat ring with your bare hands. So to make it strong enough for us to wear every day, jewelers have to mix it with tougher metals like copper, nickel, or silver. And that mixture is called an alloy. So let's take your average 14-karat gold ring. Only about 58% of that is actually pure, non-reactive gold. That other 42%, that's all those other metals. And that is exactly what the chlorine in the pool's looking for. Chlorine is super aggressive, it loves to react, and it will literally eat away at those other metals, making the whole piece of jewelry weak from the inside out. And here's the kicker, the lower the carat, the more of those vulnerable metals there are.
But listen, gold isn't the only one in the line of fire here. Chlorine is an equal opportunity destroyer, and it can wreak havoc on some of your other favorite jewelry just as easily.
And the damage can happen shockingly fast. Silver and chlorine, they're like worst enemies. The chlorine can cause it to oxidize and turn that ugly, dull, tarnished black almost instantly. And that stainless steel watch you love, chlorine couldn't care less that it's called stainless. It can cause tiny little pits and even rust spots to form. Yeah, that means even the poolside shower is a risk. Now for a completely different kind of victim, pearls. Remember, these aren't metals. They're organic gems from a living creature. Their surface is super delicate and porous, and chlorine acts like a harsh chemical peel, stripping away that beautiful, shiny luster layer by layer until they're just dull and lifeless.
But get this, here's the fascinating twist. While chlorinated water is a definite no-go, you can actually wear natural pearls in the ocean. The natural salt water doesn't hurt them at all. So the rule is super simple to remember. The sea is okay, but the pool is a big problem.
Okay, so we've established the pool is basically a chemical minefield for your accessories. Sounds pretty bad, right? But the good news is, protecting them is incredibly simple. Let's walk through a clear, easy-to-follow action plan. Honestly, this is it. This is the whole game. It doesn't get any simpler or more effective. The golden rule for your gold and for everything else is to just take it off before you get anywhere near that chlorinated water. It's the only way to be 100% sure it's safe. And remember, you're not just protecting your jewelry from one thing, you're protecting it from two big threats. First, there's the chemical attack we've been talking about, but second, and this happens all the time, is just plain losing it. Cold water makes your fingers shrink just a little bit. That ring that felt perfectly snug in the summer heat can suddenly get loose enough to just slip right off and poof, gone forever at the bottom of the pool. But what if you forget? Hey, it happens to all of us. Don't panic. If you realize you accidentally wore your jewelry for a swim, here's your emergency plan. The second you get out, rinse it really well with fresh tap water. Then, when you get a chance, let it soak in a bowl of lukewarm water with just a few drops of mild dish soap for about 15 minutes. Rinse the soap off, dry it gently with a soft, lint-free cloth, and if you still see any damage or dullness, it's time to visit a professional.
Now, a really crucial warning. In that moment of panic, you might be tempted to grab something from under the sink. Please don't do it. Toothpaste has fluoride and abrasives that can seriously damage metals. Baking soda, it's way too gritty. It'll leave tiny scratches all over the surface. And never ever use a hairdryer on it. That intense heat can actually weaken the metal and loosen any stones.
So, the main takeaway here is pretty clear. Pools and jewelry just do not mix. Keeping your favorite pieces safe and sparkling just means leaving them on the sidelines before you take a dip. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Now that you know about the hidden danger in the pool, what other chemicals in your daily routine, like lotions, perfumes, cleaning supplies, might be silently affecting your jewelry too? Definitely something to keep in mind.